Hey guys, welcome to module 1.4 of this course on how to optimize factors of production for a farming enterprise. And in this module, I just walk you through exactly what we will cover in this course. I earlier indicated we are basically covering just the 4 factors of production, but then looking at what exactly do you need to take into account so that you farm better. So we will start with land as a factor of production, and ultimately what we're actually communicating in that module is the fact that farming by its nature is about productive use of land, not in mere possession regardless of size. There's a lot of people that take pride in having 1,000, 2,000 hectares of land, which is okay. I mean, it's a great achievement, but then it's very important to understand that farming by its nature really as a business will be determined by how well you actually utilize that 1,000 or 2,000 hectares that you possess. So we will look at quite a number of issues related to land and how you can actually get it right on land in terms of planning, location, and all that. So that will be in module 2, quite greater detail that we'll look at. And then once we are done with module 2, we will move on to module 3, where we'll now look at probably one of the most difficult aspects, which is labor. And with labor, what we actually do indicate is that regardless of how angelic, how beautiful your farm machinery is, how much money you throw at the enterprise, if you don't get it right in terms of the labor, unfortunately, you are actually bound to fail. And I can tell you from my 10-15 year experience in farming, this is absolute truth. Unfortunately, it's not very easy to think that technology can actually take over everything around farming. Labor still has quite a very huge component. If you're farming in Africa, you actually note that you actually find sometimes the labor component, people from the local areas, which actually brings in different nuances. Even in the Western world, you've actually seen that sometimes agriculture gets affected, given that probably the local labor is unable to actually work on the farms and they have to actually depend on other countries for labor. So there are all these nuances that actually come and affect your farming enterprise, the quality of your labor, how you manage the labor, and all that. So we will unpack all that in this module 3 so that you can have the right labor on your farm and managed properly so that you succeed. Because if you get it wrong on this one, believe you me, unfortunately, your farming journey is as good as done. Once we're done with that, we will move on to the next module, which will look at capital. There's money aspects in terms of fundraising, though we have a separate course on fundraising strategies and options for agripreneurs that goes into greater detail. But we'll look at the money aspect in terms of raising funding for your farming enterprise. And then we'll look at other things. Once you raise the money, obviously you have to buy productive farm assets. What are some of the issues that you need to take into account so that you avoid what we call white elephants? This is where you acquire assets that are unproductive on the farm. So we have quite some greater nuances in that module. And then we will wrap up this course with a very detailed module on agripreneurship. What are some of the issues that you actually need to take into account? And the lens that we're using in that module is to focus on the frequently asked questions within agripreneurship. These have actually been put together based on 10-year experience, people asking the same repetitive but very core questions. And so we try and answer those in that module. So this is how this course looks like, and I can promise you that when you're done with this course, you will certainly farm better towards farming as a business and not as a hobby or a charitable entity. So yeah, this is where the free freemium module ends. And of course, if you like what you're hearing, then enroll for the full course, which has over 50 different videos that brings you very juicy stuff around how to get it right with land, labor, capital, and key agripreneurial skills. So I look forward to seeing you enrolling in the full course, and I'll meet you on the other side. Have a lovely one. Bye-bye.